Hello, happy Wednesday, and welcome to the weeknight dinners. This is one of the episodes that I'll be doing once a month, at least, to give you some good weeknight options. So I hope you'll enjoy the option for this week. This is a chicken parm burger recipe that I've been fixing for my family for years. And to be honest, I first came across this recipe while one of these it wasn't called a short at that point, but I think it was on Facebook, and it was those little food videos, and I believe it was from Delish. And this little video came through my feed, and it looked so scrumptious and so yummy, and I'm like, I'm gonna make that. And I never really thought about it. I mean, I've made chicken parm, and we've made chicken burgers, but I just never put it together. And it's such an easy, great weeknight option. Kids love it, adults love it, especially in fall, winter, it really sticks to your ribs. So it's a weeknight, and we all need to get dinner on the table, so I'm gonna get started. So thank you for joining me. It's Philly, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna prep a couple things that we'll be using in our chicken parm burgers and in a salad that we're gonna have on the side. So one thing I need some Parmesan cheese. I'll need some Parmesan cheese for my salad. I mean, you don't have to, but you know, cheese is awesome. And I'm gonna need some Parmesan cheese for my burgers because it is chicken parm as it is, right? So I need like a quarter cup for my burgers, and then whatever looks good to me for my salad. Now you could use pecorino. You know, one of the things I love about recipes is you can always adapt them to your likes and to what your family likes. I've done this with pecorino, love pecorino, but I figured since we're calling it a chicken parm burger that I should use parm. But I like mixing it up. Okay, so that looks about good. I mean, I could go crazy on the cheese. And Hubs isn't home yet, so you know he'd be taking a little chunk of this out if he could. So our parm cheese is ready, super quick. And next what we're gonna do is we're gonna get some parsley ready. I'm not putting parsley in the salad. I am actually gonna put some basil in the salad. We'll do basil later. Actually, I think we'll just do basil now and get that going because we're gonna use some basil for our chicken burgers. But let me get the parsley first. So I need like about a quarter cup. And if it's fresh parsley, so if you are using any dried parsley, obviously you'd want to use less. Maybe a teaspoon of dried parsley, maybe a little bit more. So if you are joining me on my live stream, please feel free to say hello. I love chatting with my friends who come on, seeing what you are having for dinner tonight, or if you've already had dinner because you live in a different part of the world, please let me know what you had for dinner or what you're cooking. So we're just gonna chop up some parsley. That's gonna go in our burger mixture. And honestly, as I think a lot of you have probably already figured out, our burger mixture is very much like a meatball, except for I'm not using an egg in it, because it really does hold together. I'm amazed actually with poultry, like how much of it really holds together. Okay, so we've got our parsley, and then I like to use just a microplane for my garlic, because it gets more crushed when you use it. And Hubs likes it because then he doesn't get a bunch of garlic. He's kind of garlic averse. I mean, he loves the flavor, but he thinks he's garlic averse, so it kind of gets in his head. So the smaller I can make it, the better. Although if it's a really strong garlic recipe, he just might complain. But he does love it. I don't know, I don't get it. To me, like, the more garlic, the better. I love garlic. So I'm just gonna use this, my microplane. I'm just going to run the garlic back and forth on it, and you'll see it kind of starts congregating right there in the back, and I can get that off with a little spatula. Please be careful though, microplanes are extremely sharp, so you do not want to go too far with this. And I got this other one, but it does really give it a really nice, it's more than a mince. It really does it nice and fine. There we go, some of it plopped down. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of this garlic and use it for my salad dressing. Now, it got most of it off, you can see, but I like to get every last bit because I love garlic. So I'm just gonna get this wonderful little silicone spatula and get all that yumminess down. And in fact, that's probably just about enough for my salad. So I'm gonna take just a teeny little bit more of that, maybe like that much for my salad dressing. I'm just gonna put it right back here. Yes, that's where we're going with the salad. So I'm just gonna put that in my bowl for later. So I've got my garlic, I've got my parsley. I actually am gonna wait on my basil. Basil tends to bruise really easily, and it's just a visual thing. It doesn't change the flavor. But you know what? We eat with our eyes, and food is a visual. So I'm gonna wait on the basil until it gets closer so that it looks fresher. And it'll definitely be nicer in my salad too. I love basil in salads. I just think it gives that nice herbaceousness, especially for an Italian salad. So we've got this stuff all prepped. I'm just gonna put this up here. And I wanna remind myself not to use all this cheese in the salad. I might actually need to get a little more cheese because I don't know if that's going to be enough for a salad. Now we're going to put together our chicken parm burgers. So I usually try to use a clear bowl, but I'm using my clear bowl for my salad. So maybe that's what I'm going to ask for Christmas, is some more clear bowls. So in our bowl, I'm going to put some ground chicken. So the last time I bought ground chicken, I bought a big value pack of it because you get more for your money. And when I did that, I then separated it into, pound divisions so that I'd have enough for my burger here. Also, the other tool I find works really well when I'm making any kind of burger, and actually meatballs, and meatballs, is a fork. I feel like a fork really helps lighten up the burgers or the meatballs, because the meat can oftentimes, whether it's ground beef, chicken, turkey, it gets a little compacted. And so when you take your fork and just kind of run it around, lighten it up a little bit, because we don't really want it compacted, So I have 1 pound of ground chicken right here. And to that, I'm going to be adding, now I have Italian breadcrumbs. And by the way, the recipe is in the link below. So be sure to, click on that if you want the full recipe. There might be some adjustments that I make, but that's what this was all based upon, was this recipe I saw on that video years ago, and it looked so scrumptious and yummy. So I'm using Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, but honestly, you could just use plain breadcrumbs. If you have plain breadcrumbs and you've got some Italian seasoning, throw some of that in, or if you just have some oregano, throw some of that in. So that'll give it kind of the seasoning that you're looking for. And this is about a ½ cup. I like to use a little bit less. I don't like it really bready, so I'm doing probably more like a 1/3 cup of breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs do help it hold together. I just prefer to have a little bit less. And that's what's great about home cooking, because you can make it your own. Then I'm going to be adding some salt and pepper. Just a nice pinch. And some good black pepper. I'm going to add my garlic. And before I do that, I'm going to get my pan ready, because before we know it, it's going to be time to put these on. Let me get that ready over there. Oh, that was a pop. Okay. Get that pan going, and I have my, Shelby has not eaten, so she is not happy right now. She very much wants to eat, and she's not sure why I'm getting food ready for us as opposed to her, but she's just gonna have to wait till after the stream. So I'm gonna put my 1/4 cup of cheese, and you know what? I feel like it shrunk after I did it, because it's all fluffy. I'm putting all that cheese in, and I'll do some more cheese for my salad. And then I'm gonna take that garlic, and I'm gonna take that parsley. There we go, all set. All right. And then all you're going to do is you're just going to take your fork and you're just going to try to mix it, but you really want to keep it light. So I'm trying to get into the meat, incorporate everything together, but I don't want to compact it. There we go. Until it seems all pretty well mixed, and then you're going to be making your burgers. Nice. Okay. All right, looks pretty well mixed enough. Now, sometimes ground chicken can be sticky. So if it's feeling sticky when you're forming your burgers, a little moisture on your hands will do the trick, and then you can form them just fine. I'm gonna take off my rings. And I'm going to turn down the heat a little bit because I don't want to put them in a screaming hot pan. And, oh, that's not what's going to do it. I'm getting a plate to put my burgers on. Then, now this is the OCD in me. So then what I do, I like to be I'm a well-planned cook, right? So hi Archie. Oh, I heard you. That's right. I read that you were, or you said maybe in your vid that you were going to be eating with a friend. Sounds good. Enjoy your steak. Take pictures so I can see. So, friends, what I do is I just like to visually kind of look and see, like, this is going to be about half. And then kind of get these little burgers almost separated. And this is what I do, but I'm a little crazy. And I kind of get my little mounds because I want them to be fairly even, right? I mean, my boys are gone now, like they've flown the nest, but back when they were younger, his is bigger than mine. Oh, he has the bigger burger. You know, there was all that going on. So you really, as a mama, tried to make sure everything. Now see, this one looks a little small. So I think I need to take a little bit from here. And so before I even form them, I start eyeballing them. And it just really helps you make them a little bit more equal. And they don't have to be perfect by any stretch. But if you have kids that are eyeing each other and knowing like who has more of this or that and becomes complaining about it, it's worth it. And now I'm just gonna moisten my hands just a little bit. Get a paper towel because I don't want them too moist. Just a little bit moist. Perfect, just a little bit moist. And then you're just forming the burgers. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when my eldest, because when he went to college and was away, what we would do when it was the three of us, and plus at that point, my youngest was in high school and he was growing and all that good stuff, we would just make 3 out of here because then he was much happier with the portions. So this makes 4 smaller burgers, or you can make 3 larger burgers. It's kind of whatever you need. And I need a little bit more moisture. It really does help. Okay. You just kind of want to round them up, make them uniform so they'll cook evenly. These are working out pretty nice. They look pretty uniform. All right. So we've got them all formed, all 4. There we go. So our burgers are formed. Our pan should be warm. And you can see how this is coming together really quickly. I just need to wash my hands of all the chickeny stuff. Get some soap. So if you're watching, first of all, thank you for watching today. And you know, I'd love to know, what are your favorite go-to weekday meals? Because, you know, we kind of all get in ruts of things that we tend to fix a lot because it's just easy, and frankly, the family loves it, but it is nice to try some new recipes. So down below, be sure and share with me what some of your favorite weeknight meals are. This one was a favorite for my family. So, my 4 chicken parm burgers are ready, and next what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be putting them in the pan. So let me get this set. You can see that this comes together really quick. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna just add a little bit of olive oil. You could add cooking spray. I don't add a lot. Like, I think the recipe calls for a tablespoon. I just don't. It spatters. I don't feel like you need it. To me, it doesn't really change the flavor because the sauce is really, you know, what helps season it as well. So let me see the temperature. Get that going. Actually, see how it feels. Yeah, that's good. So I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil and put these guys in. And that's the sound you like. The sizzle, sizzle. There we go. Like I have chicken hands again. Just take care of those. So we're gonna let them brown on the first side for about 4 or 5 minutes. Then we're gonna flip them And for me, I like them to sear for a minute before I add the sauce, and then we're gonna add sauce. So I will tell you that over the years, there's been all kinds of sauces that I've used. So sometimes I would have a prepared marinara, you know, that was in the cupboard ready to use. But I gotta tell you, and I don't know if there's anyone like me out there, but I used to hate using a prepared marinara. The reason being that then you'd have like another half of sauce that you really didn't know what to do with. And I felt like that was wasteful. So, because it would end up just, no one would use it, it would just kind of go to waste. So what I would do oftentimes is I would make a quick one myself. I always have some crushed tomatoes or even whole tomatoes or diced tomatoes in the canned goods. And I would just use that and add some seasoning and make a quick one. And I don't even know that sometimes I would cook it, especially if it was the tomato sauce, but it would kind of cook quickly in the skillet. And it just goes a long way to flavor it and, you know, and give that sauciness to the chicken parm burgers. But what's really good and what I have today is one thing I am known for in my family is I got my hands on years ago on a really excellent meatball recipe. And I make meatballs at least once a year. In fact, that's what my hubs usually ask for his birthday, is my meatballs. And we never seem to use all the sauce, right? Because, you know, you've got the meatballs. And so I have a little leftover sauce that then I put in the freezer because it's great for this recipe or just sometimes when you need a little marinara. So I've got that. And before I flip these, I'm actually going to spray the tops with a little olive oil. Whoops. So that when I flip them, they've got some nice browning to go there. Let me see how they're doing. They're not quite ready yet. So I've got the sauce, I'm gonna put it aside. And the only other thing you'll need for later is you'll need some mozzarella cheese, shredded mozzarella, and I have that there. So per the recipe, you know, they give measurements, but in my world, you know, what's enough, what seems enough, like enough cheese for who likes what in your family. So they say 3/4 cup, I don't know, it's always eyeballing it. So while we're waiting, I'm gonna get my Parmesan ready for my salad. And I see, oh, whoops. So I'd already kind of gotten my Parmesan mini microplane wet. So I'm going to use another grater. As my hubs would say, great, more things to wash. And you know one thing, it's funny. I love a finely grated Parmesan cheese, but I actually love when you use this one, because I could use this or that, but I like when it's a little bit more flaky. So I'm gonna use this, and this is what we're gonna use in our salad today. So then I feel like you really taste the Parmesan. There we go. So there's our Parmesan for our salad. I'll put this away. And now I think it's time for us to turn our burgers. I can hear them sizzling away. So let's see how they look. Oh, nicely browned. Now, I'm going to let those go for one more minute before I add my sauce. People that know me on Twitter know that I'm a fan of making poultry burgers. I tend to get my meat burgers out. In fact, I had a great beef burger this weekend at a local place in Philly. But I do make a lot of chicken and turkey burgers at home because they're less mess, they're healthier for like a weekday meal. And I do have a great grill pan, but on this you don't want to use a grill pan, you want to use a regular pan because of the sauce, because then it's going to kind of almost braise in it for a little bit. So they've had a little chance to brown. Then what I'm going to do, and this is where some spattering could happen, so I made sure I wore a dark top today. No white tops when you're doing this recipe because it could come right back at you. Is you're going to be adding your marinara, and then you're going to be putting a lid on it. So I've got my lid ready. So I'm just going to pour it over and in, and it is spattering away. And I'm going to cover it. I'm going to turn it down just a tad. And I'm going to take that away so it doesn't cover up. And we'll return this scene once they're done and ready to get some cheese on there. All right, so we got more of our Parmesan cheese for our salad. So let's finish making our salad. I have my garlic here that I had when we used the microplane. I put some of that garlic in there. What I like to do when I'm making a salad is I like to, of course, toss it at the end. So one little hack that I know a lot of people know, but I always like to mention in case you haven't heard, is I like to make the dressing first, put it down there, and then I put my salad on top, and then I can just toss it when I'm ready. I just think it's a great way to have everything ready to go, and you can toss it when you're ready to eat. So I've got my garlic there. I'm just gonna do a simple, this salad is inspired by Chef Jeezy's tricolor salad. I just love that mix of lettuces for it. But this dressing is gonna be a little different than his, but it's basically an Italian dressing. Oh, this always happens. Every time, friends. Every time. I have excited Grey Poupon that just blurted out. So way too much Dijon mustard. That is not gonna work. And actually, that might be even just a little too much because we're not making a ton of dressing. It's just for Hubs and I. Let me see, let me get some of this out. That's funny. Okay, so I've got my Dijon. And then I'm just going to add, oh, I forgot to get out my, oh, there we go. Some red wine vinegar. And I need a little whisk. There we go. Just gonna do a little red wine vinegar. Now, to me, there's nothing worse than an overdressed salad that has too much dressing on it. So I probably have here like maybe 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. Turn this down just a little bit more. I'm gonna make sure I put my timer on. We're gonna do this for 10 minutes, so I'm going to, I think 2 minutes have passed, so I'm going to put our timer for 8 minutes. A little salt and pepper. So if you didn't know, I'm doing a double header today. So this is the first stream of the evening. I'm doing the weeknight meal, the Chicken Parm Burgers. Later tonight, I'm switching gears totally, getting ready for the holidays. We have Thanksgiving coming up. We have a December full of holidays coming up. And I'm making one of the my favorite cocktails that I've been making for years. That is the roasted cranberry clove cocktail. So now I'm going to just drizzle in some of my olive oil. And I like to taste as I go. As many of you know that have been following me, I do like a tangy dressing. So what's nice about the mustard is the mustard helps the dressing come together. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's perfect. And then with the basil, it's going to be great. Okay. So then what I'm going to do, because I love things this way, I have 2 sorry looking tomatoes that have been needing, look, they're all shriveled, but they're juicy and I feel like I really want to use those. I don't like to waste food. So I'm just going to cut those tomatoes and I'm actually going to put them on the bottom because it's not like a lettuce, you know, that can get all wilty. I'm just going to cube them. And then I feel like if anything, they'll just marinate a little bit, which won't hurt, which will be yummy. So I'm just cubing these, putting them on the bottom, and then I'm going to get my lettuces ready. This is just a nice, easy salad. And then I'm going to put this there. And I'm going to get out my lettuce. All right. 2 make it tricolor. Oopsie. Let me check on this real quick. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. To make it, actually, you know what I'm going to, I have an idea. I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to move it to my burner in the back because it's smaller. One thing I've mentioned here ever since I've been streaming is I don't really love my stove. My stove, it doesn't have a good simmer, and so I felt like the heat was a little too high on that bigger burner, so I moved it to the smaller burner in the back because I'm just trying to, with the lid on, help those chicken burgers cook through. So I've got some radicchio, I've got some endive, however you say it, and some arugula. So let me get my arugula down there, and they're just a great mixture. There we go. Get some arugula down there. I don't want too much because it's just for 2 people. I just feel like lettuce also disappears once you mix it with dressing. All right. I love getting arugula because besides making great lettuces, it's great to put on wraps, on sandwiches, and then I actually like sauteing this and adding it instead of spinach for lots of things. So arugula lasts a long time in the fridge, and I just love its peppery taste. I think it's just really one of my favorites. So now I need my cutting board so I'm gonna get this lettuce ready. Okay. So for my endive, all I'm gonna do, the tips are a little brown, is I'm just gonna slice them. Until we get to that core, and then I'm gonna stop. I don't want the core. Kind of pick that out. But the other ones I love, the ribbons. We're gonna put those on top. Make our tricolor salad. And then this one, I'm just gonna take off a cheek of it, and I'm just gonna slice that. There we go. Beautiful. And if for some reason we don't have enough dressing, I can always add a little more vinegar and oil to it, and it'll be just fine. I'm gonna put my cheese on top. So don't forget to add that. Everything's coming together well. Let's tidy this up a little bit. Put our lettuce over there. And I think actually it might be time for me to get my basil ready. Tidy up this board a little bit. There we go. Okay. There we go. Nice. All right. I need this. Those can go over here. My goodness, I feel like I got stuff everywhere. Okie dokie. Okay. So my salad's ready. All it needs to be is tossed. I'm going to add just a little more salt on top because there is a lot of greens in there, and I want to make sure it seasons well enough. And I love a lot of fresh ground pepper, so I'm going to add that. Okay. Now I'm going to get my basil ready. So I got one of those hydroponic, whatever they're called ones, and they have some nice basil. I love basil. To me, it's like just another green to go in my salad, but I also want it for my chicken parm burgers. That'll look nice and taste nice on top. I also want to get my buns ready. I'm thinking about that. So all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to get my leaves on top of each other. This is a nice, easy way to get some good slices from your basil leaves. Just kind of lay them on top of each other like this. You see how I did that? And then you kind of roll them up, and you can just slice away. It makes it quick and easy. Here we go. And then you just kind of separate them. You've got these lovely ribbons that we can put on our chicken parm burgers and on our salad. So I'm going to set some aside for our chicken parm burgers. Let's see, looking at those for our chicken parm burgers. There we go. All right, that should be good. And put these on our salad. Excellent. There we go. All right, So our salad's ready to go. I think we need to get our buns ready because we just have very little time left for our chicken to be done. So being only two of us here with the empty nest, we can't go through those big packages of buns. So these are from a favorite bakery in Philly, or baker in Philly called Merzbacher's, and they make the Philly muffins that I've talked about. They also make an amazing sweet potato roll. You can use any kind of bun. It could be a seeded bun. It could be a Tata bun. It could be just a regular old hamburger bun. It could be a brioche roll. Whatever your pleasure, whatever you like. These are amazing. But what I want to do, that means we're done. So since those are done, I'm going to give you a peek of them. Let me just get my camera back on so you can see. I'm going to move the pan. Let's do a big ta-da, and we'll get the cheese on. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I'm going to get a spoon and kind of make sure that sauce gets all around. So I don't know if you noticed, but I did not have 2 cups of sauce per the recipe. I really never do, and I feel like it's a little overkill if I'm being honest. And while people like extra sauce on their buns, you also don't like want it literally pouring off your bun. So it just becomes a little overkill. Oh my gosh, these look amazing. So I'm gonna get the cheese on them now. Oh, yum. So, I've got my cheese right here, and then I'm gonna put the lid on so it can melt. So a little cheese. Like I said, we're just gonna put it now. Now I will tell you, cover that up, gonna put that right back there, and we're almost ready. I will tell you that if you aren't going to be eating all those burgers, so if you're fixing the burgers and you know one of them's not going to get eaten because there's just 3 of you, or there's just 2 of you and a couple aren't, then do not put the cheese on yet, because what will happen when you rewarm it, the cheese just kind of constantly slides off. So my pro tip is, any that you're not planning on eating right then for that meal, just don't put the cheese on, and you can put it on when you rewarm it. So that's just a little pro tip that helps. I want to get these buns ready though. So I'm going to get them cut, and I want to just toast them off real quick in my air fryer. Of course, you could do this in your oven. You could do it in a pan. Oh my goodness, you could do it in a pan with some butter, and that would be decadent, right? But this is a weeknight meal. We're just keeping it simple. I'm just gonna spray them with some olive oil, get them toasted. Oh, these are such good buns. Oh my goodness. And call it a day. There we go. We'll get those in. Put them in. You see how it's almost there. I think I need to turn up the heat just a little bit to get that going again. It's gonna give me problems, so I'm gonna do it in the back. My stove is such a pain in the butt. Okay, so yeah, put that on low. Get that heat up just a little bit, and then we'll add our basil to it. So since we're just waiting for that, I think what we can do is we can get our salad tossed. All right. Oh, I don't need, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that so that we can cut it open. All right. I need tongs. So remember, our salad dressing's on the bottom. So all we're going to do is just lift it up. And then our tomatoes come up, and our arugula is getting mixed with the endive, with the radicchio, cheese, And you know what? The dress is perfect. It's perfectly dressed. I wouldn't want it dressed anymore. But if for some reason you didn't eyeball it right, all you do is add a little extra vinegar and oil. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. And you know that little bit of garlic we put in was so good. I can smell it. It's so fragrant in the best of ways. Nice. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So our salad's ready. We just need to get our burger ready. Let me see how we're doing. Oh, yes. Now that's what we want. So I'll show you in a second. Let me just get my basil on. Okay, here we go. You can see. See how that, yep, you can see, but let me show you the better camera. See? Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take one of those, and our bun is almost ready. I'm going to turn this off. And look, it is 5:40. And truth be told, if I didn't have a camera on me, I would have had this done in 30 minutes. Easy. But you know, it's like you're trying to talk online and you get a little distracted, but easy would that be. Let me check on my buns. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Just that short time was all you needed. Oh my goodness. The air fryer is just a wonderful thing. Look, those buns are perfectly toasted. I'm gonna get one of the burgers on here. Let me see, oh my goodness. Okay, now, I will tell you, you'll have to find out from your family if they want the sauce on the bottom, like who wants sauce. My one son didn't really want any extra sauce. My husband likes extra sauce, so I'm gonna put a little bit of sauce on the bottom. So I've got my bottom bun here, and I'm just going to spread some of that sauce there. I'm going to put this on top. 1 second. Ah. Let me run this. By the way, look at that. Look at that. Delicious. And then I'm going to cut it down the middle. That's how I like to eat my burgers. It, for me, it feels a little more civilized. I will say the guys don't usually want to do that. Oh, and then look at this. Look at this. Perfectly cooked. Look how nice that is inside. It's juicy, it's nice. You can have extra sauce on the side for dipping if you'd like. So I'm gonna put just a little bit of salad here to try it. Get a little tomato. Put that right here. And we'll try these burgers. Let's see. Okay, so first, because I'm gonna let my burger cool off just a little bit. So first let me try my salad. Oh, get a little tomato. Everything's falling off. Okay, here we go. I love salads. It's so good. Such a great Italian salad that goes with anything. And again, I just happen to have tomatoes. I often don't use the tomatoes, but I have them and I didn't want them to go to waste. And now let's try this beautiful burger. It is so moist. It is delicious. I used a little less breadcrumbs. I don't miss them at all. I like using just enough breadcrumbs to help it come together. It is so good. The flavors, especially the garlic, don't skimp, unless you don't like garlic, don't skimp on the garlic. And this bun is amazing. And like I said, you can put sauce on the side if you want to dip it. It is so delicious. And I gotta tell you, I don't know, depending on the store that you have near you, but there's a store by us that has, by a brand called Bell & Evans, they have just plain chicken burgers in the freezer. And there was a time that we had those in the freezer, and I just used those, and those are just plain, like seasoned just with salt and pepper chicken burgers. And we did the same thing. We just cooked them in there, put the sauce and the cheese, and they were delicious. Now this is better because it has the garlic and it has the seasoned breadcrumbs and the parsley and all that good stuff, and the cheese inside. But like, there's so many little hacks and ways you can do it. But putting the sauce in, putting some cheese on, you know, I know there was a time my kids would not have wanted the basil on top. They've been like, none of the green stuff. It is such a, and especially right now, like today was a real cold day here, really windy and chilly. It just warms your soul. So delicious. So let me know if you try this recipe. Let me know what your favorite weeknight recipes are. And then at 7:30, if you want to know about a great cocktail for the holiday, be sure and come back on for the 7:30 stream. And then this weekend, getting ready for Thanksgiving, I'm going to be showing 3 different ways to use canned pumpkin. And so please stop in on Sunday for that stream, you know, whether you have Thanksgiving or not. Just some great recipes there as well. So again, thank you for joining. Please make sure you subscribe and hit the notification so that you don't miss anything, any of the streams or any of the videos that I put up on my YouTube channel. And if you want to follow me and get more details, please find me on Twitter, even though Twitter is a little bit of a hot mess right now. Find me on Twitter at Philly Live, and I always post, you know, different food things, and I have a great food community there, and we share so many recipes and things that we're doing, and I also share a lot about the streams coming up in my schedule. So thank you for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you later at 7:30. Have a great dinner and have a great week.